Okay, so starting with the Dark Elves, we are going to be looking at 4 zombies, as I mentioned. Skeleton Warriors in the Sternsman Graveguard, Claw of Nagash, Heinrich Kemmler, going to have his usual loadout, Krell, as well as the heal, Van Hale's Dance Macabre, and Cloak of Mist and Shadows actually is going to be on top of him too. Now, aside from that, we got Azag the Slaughterer up in the air, and that's going to be nice, the Spirit Leech, and he's also going to be bringing his new items, which I'm quite excited by. Slaga Slasher, a constant buff to melee attack and leadership, and Azag's Ard Armor, a very powerful buff for 38 seconds. Very expensive, and you can only use it every 2 minutes. The rest of the Greenskin army will be 3 Black Orcs, Goblins. Looks like we have some Savage Orc Biggins, Forest Goblin Spider Riders. Got a couple of Orc Error Boys, another Goblin, Savage Orc Biggins, and some more Forest Goblin Spider Riders, and the 8-Peak Loonies on that far flank with the Giant holding down the center. And yeah, Azag's going to be in a very dominant position in this battle because there's absolutely nothing here to counter him in the air. So as long as he doesn't land and kill himself, he'll be okay. And there he goes, getting on top of the Dire Pack Wolf, doing some nice damage, and they're going to get crumbled out of existence with the Forest Goblin Spider Riders blocking off their avenue of escape. Meanwhile, the Mortis Engine getting focused by those Orc Air Boys. A lot of good damage being done. The Blood Knights are coming around the rear, but the Savage Orc Biggins are going to be trying to countercharge them, and it looks like they're going to successfully get on top of them. And now Azag is diving in to help him out, and they are going to be doing very well against these Blood Knights, allowing the Black Orcs to focus on the front line, the Giant to focus on the front line. There goes a Wah. And right now, as long as the Greenskins don't have any breaks in their line, they look like they're in a really strong position. Especially with the Blood Knights here in the back line taking so much damage. And now there's the Forest Goblin Spider Riders coming in, which pretty much means the Blood Knights are dead. They can get healed, but the Forest Goblin Spider Riders are just going to be able to chase them right now. They're crumbling. Savage Orc Biggins are smashing in from the rear. And, oh no, this is looking pretty bad here for RTK Keykeeper with his vampire accounts, as Azag is just doing some crazy good work here. We do see an upgraded Invocation deck going down. Blood Knights are going to still stay in the fight for a bit longer, but the problem is they have nowhere to pull out. They're just going to get surrounded and chewed away. Over here, frontline combat, we're going to see the Giant going down. He's taking about half health, and over here, we're going to have Azag's Ard Armor and everything else pop down, though. And this Banshee is crumbling out of existence. We're going to see another Wah get popped. And as long as the Greenskins can deal with the Banshees, I think they got this in the bag, because without the Blood Knights, the vampire counts are at a severe disadvantage when it comes to anti-large here. So as long as the Banshees and the Blood Knights are dealt with, I think the Greenskins got this in the bag. But ain't over till it's over. Looks like the Mortis Engine was killed, though. Oh no, I lied. It's still right here, but it is getting Spirit Leech, and the Giant is attacking it. And it may go down right here. Yep, there it goes. Mortis Engine is down for the count, and the balance of power is going significantly in favor of our Greenskin player here. Azag going to dive in, help finish off the Blood Knights. He's taking some damage in the combat, but overall I think he'll be just fine due to their low health. Azag's Ard Armor is still popped here, giving him that extra defense and armor. Blood Knights don't have armor piercing, so definitely going to be useful. He's going to get back up into the air, though. Foe Seeker is popped, and leaving the Blood Knights just to stay in combat with those Forest Goblin Spider Riders, while the rest of the Greenskin forces surround and crush the Vampire Count Infantry and, you know, their hero squad. Mr. Giant's taking a lot of damage, but he's doing okay. He has a lot of infantry support here. He's laying down some serious hurt on top of the Corpse Cart. Spirit Leech is going down on top of the Banshee now. And this Greenskin army just very well put together, very well played. And oh my goodness, a full health unit of Black Orcs coming in. Also, might I just say, I love their new paint with that black armor. I know Black Orcs aren't called Black Orcs for their armor. It's because they have darker skin than their other Greenskin brethren. But I still like to see them in black armor. It just looks better. Yeah, the Blood Knight catch in the back line just won the game for the Greenskins from there. So, well played to Showtime. A really strong Greenskin display, and we'll see what Keykeeper can do in round 2. So, updating that scoreboard, not 2. I just said round 2 and I instinctively typed 2. So in that replay, yay, my Blood Knight play cost me the game for sure. Yeah, Keykeeper, that was the game losing stroke right there. And not to be harsh or anything, but you know, they didn't get, one of them didn't get a counter charge off, and the Savage Orcs big guns getting on top of them was just a really nice play by the Greenskins. And yeah, that was rough from there, man. They got caught out with their pants down. But if they would have survived, I think this would have been a very even matchup that would have gone on. But it was just that big play in the early game there that really put you at a deficit from there on out. Because the Sirens, you know, look at the Giant. The Giant was really low on health. You came close to killing it. And I don't know. I guess you don't necessarily need an Air Force against Greenskins if you're playing as the Vampire Counts. But with the potential of Azag or a Greenskin Lord up in the air, it does hurt, because then the vampires have literally nothing they can do to counter Azag unless he's misplayed and dives down into combat where he gets caught out and killed. But as we saw there, you know, as long as he's playing it patiently and intelligently, Azag really has nothing to fear from the vampire counts because they have no missile unit. So unless they have an Air Force, he's really in a good position. Greenskins count matchup is still in count favor. Red Duke on Dragon. Yeah, I like the breath attacks. Terrorgeist are good. Like, I just think the Air Force against Greenskins is usually a good pick, because if they don't bring Azag, cool, then you have air dominance, and then you can just focus on breaths and breathing down the Black Orcs, causing terror. But all in all, I still like this army. The double Banshee against Greenskins is a very strong pick, and you know, a lot of regeneration here too. And Heinrich Kemmler, I like him a lot. He's one of my favorite Vampire Count lords. I never play Vampire Counts. I'm not a Vampire Count player, but as far as their lords go, Heinrich Kemmler, the Red Duke, those are the two standouts, and Vladdy Daddy, of course. Now, throwing up the army blocker, let's get to round 2 and see what happens from here. Greenskins are very strong now. Yeah, Showtime's a very good player. No shame there, man. And you made it to the finals. Be proud. And also your last game, the semifinals, crazy convincing victory. So let's see what happens in round 2 between Keykeeper here in Showtime. And now we have Vampire Coast versus the Greenskins of Keykeeper. So let's go ahead and update the factions here. So Keykeeper, you got the greeny boys, the green boys. And then we have the Vampire Coast. This is a pretty even matchup to me. I don't really think either of the factions is favored. Vampire Coast and Greenskins is pretty even as far as I'm concerned. Blocker up, and here we go. Angry Dead Gorilla. Yeah, I do love a Vargulf in that matchup, but here we are, guys. We got Skarsnik, River Troll Death Hag. We got a Goblin. We got 4 Orc Error Boys and the Rusty Errors. We got the 8 Peak Loonies right there. We have some Goblin support, so 3 of them. We got the Orc Biggins in the back line, 1 on either flank, and we have some Stone Trolls holding down the center. Aside from that, the River Troll Hag is going to be bringing her big sack of fish and just gross things from the bottom of the river. And going to have Mither, Blast, as well as Soul Blight, Spirit Leech, and Life Leeching. Now, the Rusty Errors, you beautiful bastards with your Armor Sundering ability. Now, the Goblin is going to be on top of a Wolf. He's going to have They Need Stabbing. We got Skarsnik down here on the ground as well with the Fermented Fungi, as well as Spider the Bad Moon, and Get Back Here. I do believe that rounds out the Greenskin forces with the exception of some Forest Goblin Spider Riders. 2 of them, and the Mogrim's Mangy Marauders. Now, taking a look at the Vampire Coast. Oh my goodness. You guys, both these players are just bringing some of my favorite units in the damn game. We're going to start, though, with the Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob. Looks like we have 4 of them, one of them being the Tide of Skuld. We got 3 Bombers. We got 3 units of Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob. We're going to have 3 units of Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob with Pole Arms. And they're going to be protecting 2 mortars. Speaking of mortars, there they go firing away. There's a 4th gunnery mob and a 5th zombie pirate deckhand mob that I missed. We're also going to have the Rotting Prometheans, the Lamprey's Revenge, the ROR with regeneration. We have Count Noctilus, and he's going to have Captain Ross Moondial, Wraithstorm, Arcane Conduit, Invocation from the Heck, and the Drowned Dead. And last, but of course not least, I'm saving the best for last, we have the Gallows Giant Necrofex Colossus with its flamethrower, ready to burninate some green boys. So let's see what happens from here. The mortar's already getting some nice work against the Orc Air Boys. Some really nice work, actually, bringing them down to close to half health. And we'll see what happens from here. The Greenskin's definitely going to be able to cleave through this infantry very quickly. So it's going to be up to the Vampire Coast here with the summons and other units to really do a good job of tar pitting. But oh no, the Greenskins just opened themselves up for some very nasty damage, because as you see, they're diving into the Zombie Pirate Deckhand mob and opening up their flank to the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mob, and just look at the damage coming in here. These guys are already wavering. The 8-peak loonies are below half health, and now they're going to turn and try to come over here, but the bombs are going to be taking their toll already. Fanatics going to let go of their loons here in the Zombie Pirate Deckhand mob, but yeah, that's some devastating stuff right there, as the bombs have just deleted 2 Greenskin units, including their Unbreakable Regiment of Renown, which is a really important unit. Going to see another unit of goblins already routing from the bombs, and the mortars are going to continue to apply that pressure. And we'll see what happens from here. Stone Trolls coming in on the flank. Looks like they may be getting a big shot of fire from the Necrofex Colossus, though. And oh my god. Fire, damn it. Oh, I hate when it doesn't fire in time. That would have been devastating. These trolls have a weakness to fire, and can you imagine one big lob from that Necrofex Colossus? Gonna see the blast coming here from the River Troll Hag. Gonna do some nice damage, and Invocation of the Heck going down on top of the Necrofex Colossus. But looking across the battle line, the battle lines, we're gonna see the Orc Biggins coming in now, but the Vampire Coast defense is looking really strong to me. We have the bombers going to be throwing volleys into the lightly armed infantry units. There goes another volley from the Necrofex Colossus, and I'm sorry I missed the initial one, because it looks like it did some mad work against those stone trolls, and it's going to continue firing away to help them on their way off the battlefield. Meanwhile, Wa just got popped. Skarsnik is coming into combat. We have the Orc the Orc Biggins in combat, and the other ones coming into combat. And this is where the Greenskins can really start to tip the battle in their favor, as they have cleaned up a lot of the frontline units that have been holding them back. And as long as they keep the pressure up, for instance, keep microing these guys forward, and they get into the back lines, they should be in a really strong position. The Lamprey's Revenge taking some serious damage from Mogrim's Mangy Marauders, and now Skarsnik, who is in combat with them. Soul Blight has been popped there to debuff their armor and weapon strength. And the Greenskins look like they may be getting something going here. They still have 3 healthy Orc Air Boys firing into combat. The Rusty Airs are still around 2. They're destroying these bombers. But the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, I wish I would see them come in and neutralize these mortars, because the longer these mortars fire, the more value they're getting. And they're just going to tear apart the Greenskin archers if they don't deal with them sooner rather than later. Over here, Skarsnik continues to do well in combat. Looks like he may be able to finish off the Lamprey's Revenge as long as he isn't uninterrupted. Orc Biggins are in the fight too, helping support him. We're going to be seeing Count Noctilus in combat with the River Troll Hag, and that is going to be doing a lot of damage. Wraithstorm going down on top of the River Troll Hag too, just to add insult to injury, and it's down to half health, and the balance of power is creeping ever so slightly in favor of the Greenskins at this point, guys. The Greenskin archers still laying in that suppressing fire. Love to see them get a bit closer, though. Come in here, maybe start shooting the Necrofex Colossus, but it looks like good old Skarsnik and Gobla are going to be dishing out a ton of damage to the Gallows Giant in melee combat for now. And the Rotting Prometheans look like they may be going down for the count. Bombers also getting taken out. Goblin Big Boss is wavering, though, taking a lot of damage. And oh my goodness gracious, this River Troll Hag is just taking so much damage. Still has a long way to go before reaching its healing cap, so we'll see if it regains its leadership and starts healing through that damage, or if it's going to go down for the count. Over here, the Necrofix Colossus getting another invocation from the heck. We have the Stone Trolls coming back, Orc Biggins, and Scar Snake all in combat here. And this Necrofix Colossus may go down for the count pretty soon here, but look at that. The Trolls going to get terror routed from the fire, and it's going to be a valiant defeat, as it seems Keykeeper is going to concede defeat. Yeah, the gunnery mobs on the archers would have helped a ton, Biggie Smalls. Yep, the side shots from the Necrofix Colossus, the what the hell is it named? The Gallows Giant. Why can't I think? No, that is its name, the Gallows Giant. Necrofix Colossus is just the generic name. But yeah, the Gallows Giant. So good, so good. But yeah, I mean, that was a really good game. That was close. I think both players showing some mistakes. Both players showing some really good plays. I do just think that priority number one for the Greenskins, and it's easier said than done. I always want to be clear when I'm saying that, but my feedback was like, you got to get rid of these mortars. They got over 100 kills between them, and single-handedly pretty much dealt with the archers, but the archers got a ton of damage done, so really good value from them. And feedback to Showtime there is, I agree with what Biggie Smalls is saying here in the chat. The Zombie Pirate Gunnery mob needed to be working in tandem with the mortars to shoot down the Orc Airboys as quickly as possible. But another point of feedback there is these bombers, first of all, beautifully played, and I love bombers. They are so devastating, but Keykeeper on the replay, I'm sure, will notice that it was that Night Goblin, the 8-peak loonies and the unit of goblins that were diving after Zombie Pirate Deckhand mob. I'm sure it was just a misplay and he didn't know what was happening, but holy hell, that gave these guys so much value because you had 2 units of goblins stacked on top of each other. One of them a very valuable unit, the 8-peak loonies, and just getting deleted by those bombs. That was devastating stuff. But other than that, I think it was a good play. I like both of the armies, and I do think it wasn't a battle that was lost in the drawing board by any stretch of the imagination. Both players put up a good fight, and we'll see what happens in round 3. So Keykeeper fighting for his life. Will he be able to make a comeback, or will he get knocked out 3-0? We've seen a lot of comebacks lately, so we'll see if it happens again. I'm trying to think of, well, maybe I'm thinking of Soothsayer and Crabling, where he came back from a 2-0 deficit and brought it to an ace match. But here we go. Blocker going up, round 3, about to commence. You don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this, guys. So here we are, High Elves versus Dark Elves. Another elf war. And Keykeeper's going to be leading the Dark Elves against the High Elves of Showtime. Is it mirrored cavalry kind of useless? Lordzio 987, cavalry is absolutely not useless, I can promise you that. It's high micro, though. It's a lot harder to use than infantry, but cavalry can single-handedly win games, no doubt. I think if you weren't here earlier, Lordzio, you can go back and watch the replay of this stream, and the first game was like an all-cav high elf army versus dark elves, and the cavalry really showed up. Cavalry builds can be very, very strong and potent, but you just got to make sure you use them well. Otherwise, they are a bit squishy. You can't just like leave cavalry in combat. They won't do well. Yeah, that army blocker, the River Troll, with its acidic breath is just so damn gnarly. That guy coming back and the terror on the 2 soldiers' faces as they see his like skull as it just melts through all the flesh. So dope. Yeah, that's why I was really happy to see River Troll Hags come into the game now, and just River Trolls in general. You like the banner of the Vampire Coast? Yeah, Vampire Coast is just a fun faction. Any foot greenskin hero squad won't kill the torch if Nocto is near it, but the archers will. Yeah, that's a good point. I think the greenskins definitely, that was a 50-50 game from the beginning. It was just the players' playstyles. And I do agree, the archers shooting the Necrofix Colossus probably would have helped expedite its passing and been a bit better. But Scarsnick is also great at taking it on too. Light harass cav is amazing. Any other cav other than monstrous cav is trash. I disagree wholeheartedly. What about Nehekara Horsemen? Some of the best medium cav in the game, Biggie Smalls. What about Silver Helms? Like, they're awesome. Dragon Princes, they're awesome. Blood Knights, they're awesome. Like, I don't know. Harass cav? What is harass cav? Silver Helms aren't harass cav. Yeah, I don't agree with that at all, Biggie Schmalls. I respectfully disagree. I think cavalry is excellent. Bretonia, all of their cavalry is good. Just use it for different purposes. But anyway, I digress. Got the scoreboard updated? No, I'm not disagreeing that light fast cav is amazing. I love light fast cav. But apples and oranges, man. Light fast cav is awesome. But heavy cav has the benefit of being able to actually pack a big punch. Lyrian Reavers are never going to kill Blackguard and Agarond, right? However, if Blackguard and Agarond are tied up and they get a rear charge from Dragon Princes, they'll feel it. So yeah, I guess I just disagree with the idea that light fast cav and heavy cav are mutually exclusive. Like, they work even better together. The light cav to chase down the heavy cav and slow them down, and then the heavy cav to come in and finish the fight. For example, Forest Goblin Spider Riders, the light cav. Orc Boar Boy Biggins, heavy cav. The Forest Goblin Spider Riders chase them down, put the pressure on, apply the poison, and they allow the slow Biggins to catch up and kill them off. That is so not true, Biggie Schmalls. I hope you trust me on this. I cast tournaments every week, 2 tournaments a week. I see everything. I see so many different players from all the time. I promise you, I'm casting over like 20 battles every week. And Bretonia can be very viable without a single archer in its army. Velomath, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it so much. Chariots are amazing. But yeah, Bretonia, no, man. They can go a full cav army if they want in certain matchups and do just fine. I do think Bretonian archers are one of the best things on their roster because it's the only missiles they have, obviously, but they're also very cost efficient. But by no means do you need 8 archers to be competitive with Bretonia. You can go watch some of the streams of like the best players playing, and they'll bring Bretonia, and it won't have 8 archers because that's against the rules. They do tend to lack AP, but that's why you get your questing knights with their armor piercing. You know, there are cold one knights have armor piercing. I'll fight you. Biggie Schmalls, I can't fight you. You've donated so much money to this stream. You know I love you. But I will stand my ground. And everybody. Yeah, not in the cup rules. You can bring 8 archers in the cup rules, which is also fine to me. That's a lot of archers. It means you need to protect 8 archers. So I'm fine with that. I don't mind the cup rules difference from the Warhammer cup rules, but you don't need 8 archers to be competitive for Bretonia. Pish posh, apple sauce. I will lovingly fight you. Same. It's a respectful disagreement, a heated debate. Yeah, big monsters, like cavalry isn't good against big monsters. I will be very clear on that. Like, there's some cavalry that can be good against a single entity monster, but Bretonian Cav is not one of the factions that have it. So I will concede that. Cavalry isn't great for killing monsters, but their mass is good for holding them in place. But let's focus on this battle. 2 Reaper Bolt Throwers, 2 Scourgerunner Chariots, Dark Riders with Cold One Knights backing them up. We have Dread Spears, 2 Bleak Swords, and Black Orc Corsairs with Witch Elves in the rear. We're also going to have a Feral Manticore in the air, and Malekith on top of his Black Dragon Seraphim. Gaze of Malice, Stand Your Ground, and Soul Stealer are going to be on top of him. Other than that, we have the High Elves here in red. Going to have Alariel the Radiant once again, and oh no, a Tempest is going down, and that's going to allow Alariel and this Dragon, perhaps, to just shred that Feral Manticore right now. They're taking some damage, but they're getting the better of the trade. There goes an Earthblood, and holy hell, Feral Manticore taking some crazy damage very early in the game here. Alariel will have Tempest. Does she not have Star of Averland? No, she does. Earthblood, Foz Protection, the usual loadout. Got Silver Helms here with shields. Silver Helms with shields. White lines of trace, one on either flank. Spearmen holding up the center, 2 more in the rear. Lothern Sea Guard, 2 of them, and some archers. So the same army we saw in the semifinal here from Showtime against his previous opponent, and we'll see if it works as well this time. Right now, Malekith is running away from the Star Dragon. The Scourge Runner Chariots, though, are putting down a ton of damage on top of it. So, you know, it's got to be careful. Malekith can hold his own in combat, but I think Alariel with the Star of Avalorn, they're feeling okay about it. There goes a Tempest on top of Malekith, though. That's going to do some damage on top of him. He's going to pop Standard Ground to try to defend himself against the Star Dragon, but the Star Dragon is really laying down some hurt on him. Soul Stealer is going down to help heal up Malekith, and Alariel the Radiant is going to chase that Manticore off the field, and that is how you get some good value, finish the fight, as I say. Don't let that Manticore come back. However, the Star Dragon is now wavering, and it may start routing here as the Scourge Runner Chariots continue to fire away. Earthblood going down on top of it, but it's broken, it's routing. Will Alariel be able to save that Star Dragon in time? If not, Malekith may be able to make a comeback here and win it decisively. Cold One Knights and the Dark Riders still working on the flanks. Looks like these Silver Helms getting in combat with the Witch Elves and Rampaged, and the Dread Spears are in here too, so these Silver Helms are not going to be having a good day. White lines of trace breaking through the front line though, and these Spearmen need to get microed forward. They're just kind of sitting here rather uselessly for the moment. Silver Helms are going to get knocked out unless they have infantry support ASAP. The Reaper Bolt Throwers are continuing to fire away, but one of them is very low on health and routing. Over here, we have the Silvering Guard and White Lines of Trace double teaming the Bleak Swords and crushing them in combat. The High Elf Archers are doing a lot of damage here on the peripheries, but oh, look at this! The Star of Avalorn, the Star is going down on top of the Star Dragon. A big fat breath on top of Malekith, and that Star Dragon may live to fight another day with that lovely Star of Avalorn going down. Soul Stealer from Malekith going down as well. But now Alariel and the Star Dragon are going to be going after him. The Star Dragon's down to 700 some odd HP, and it could very easily die at this point from the Scourge Runner Chariots. So it's got to be careful. They have enough ammunition to where they could possibly kill it off here. 604 HP now, and Alariel does not want to be stuck in a one-on-one combat against Malekith unless she has that Star Dragon. But the Star Dragon looks like it's going to get routed off the field perhaps. But here comes some Silver Helms coming in to save the day and protect Alariel and the Star Dragon. Oh, as I say that, the Star Dragon just dies from the Scourge Runner Chariot. So, you know, the balance of power is squarely in favor of the High Elves. But we'll see what happens in the long run here. They have Scourge Runner Chariots that are very healthy, and Malekith, who has Soul Stealers, which means he can potentially heal himself back up, and he's a long ways from his healing cap. Meanwhile, over here, the Dark Elves are starting to make some gains in the infantry engagements as the Witch Elves are helping kill off the Spearmen, and now they're going to be fighting the Silvering Guard. We'll see Silvering Guard obviously much tougher than regular old Spearmen. Reaper Bolt Throwers continuing to fire away at the High Elf infantry with that scatter shot. Malekith coming over here, killing off the Silvering Guard. And like I say, if Malekith gets a good Soul Stealer on a blob of High Elf infantry, this balance of power can switch right back in the other direction. The Star Dragon is dead, which means Malekith will reign supreme as long as he doesn't get shot to death. But with the Tempest in the back pocket, oh, speaking of Tempest, there it goes. That may be the end for Malekith, because that Tempest was done in range of his archers, and the archers look like they're going to be able to finish Malekith off. And there he goes. Balance of power going to completely go against the Dark Elves now. And that's probably going to be a GG from there. I don't think the Dread Spears will be able to do this on their own. The balance of power is just too far against them for their leadership to hold. Yep, there it goes. The routing is beginning. Army loss is kicking in, and we're going to see a High Elf victory here. And Showtime is going to win this best-of-5 final in a 3-0 fashion. So, great games to both players, but I don't think there's a comeback possibility for the Dark Elves at this point. But man, some really good plays. Killing off that Star Dragon. The infantry engagements across the board were actually breaking even in a lot of places, but now the High Elves clearly have the advantage. And really, if Malekith would have survived, I stand by what I say. They had a chance to come back and win that. So some great games to both of these players. Keykeeper, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the stream and gained some valuable insight watching your replays. I know watching my replays is always a painful experience, but also a great learning experience because you start seeing all the mistakes you made. But it's important to watch your replays. Any competitive sport has some aspect of watching replays because seeing yourself in the third person is quite enlightening. Yeah, monstrous infantry against cavalry is also another thing they're quite good at, but it's all matchup dependent. Yeah, Tempest deals a lot of damage. Cav would be broken if they could just fight infantry cost efficiently. Yeah. Cav, to me, they're totally different. It's not, you can say infantry is better than cavalry. Because in all cavalry army versus an all infantry army, I know who I'm putting my money on. It's just they're way more micro-intensive and they're more expensive because the damage output they have in terms of potential is much higher than a majority of infantry units, I would say. And Zootron Smith, good to see you. Zero, good to see you. Cav or Cav on Cav or Cav on Chariot. Cav are the least efficient way to play. Yeah, agree to disagree, man. What I notice is that Cav need to hit and run, but the funny thing is that they lose models because they get stuck. Yeah. God, I wish I could just show you guys replays just to make the point that I think this is an oversimplification to the maximum degree. Single entity models are better with heals, yeah. Arrow lines. I guess maybe the way I would put it is not that they're better. It's easier without Cav. Is that a fair compromise? I don't think it's better objectively. It's easier. A player can play with single entity monsters and heal them up, and it's a lot easier to play that style versus having a lot of Cav to micro. But when there's a player at the top of his game with his micro on point, I'm sorry, cavalry can be devastating. I think my main point is I always go back to Alexander the Great. It's like Alexander the Great and his armies were so successful because they implemented mixed unit tactics. Light infantry supporting heavy cavalry, heavy infantry in a center supported by light skirmishers. Whatever it may be, it was about the combination of different tactics and unit abilities that made them so powerful. And I think it's the same in this game. I think, you can't really compare cavalry to monstrous infantry to infantry. There's just different situations where they work better. I agree that it's harder to use Cav in a lot of matchups they come across as weak, but I chalk that up to them not being used to their fullest potential. Because when I see somebody like a Lotus Moon, a Soothsayer, a Falcon, a Crabling, a Chief, those guys can make cavalry just sing. And even here, Silver Helms did well. That's some good kills. I don't know. That's the thing, guys. I don't even say Cav is better than infantry. They're just different, guys. They're different. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this. They do if they're getting killed by kiting units. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end it from here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm going to go eat some dinner. I hope you enjoyed the battles. Big shout out to all the players that we did replays for today. And a huge thank you to everybody in the chat, of course. Thank you for the subscriptions. Keykeeper gifting 3 of those today. And thank you, as always, to everybody else for the follows and the subscriptions. And, of course, Biggie Schmalls, in spite of my vehement disagreement with you right now. Always got to give a shout out to this guy. He gifted 100, or what was it, 60 subs in one stream, which led to another person donating 60 subs to the stream. So without you guys, we wouldn't be working towards this $1,000 prize pool playoff. So always want to give a big shout out to you guys. So I'll bring in Killing Smalls to argue my point. Well, Biggie Smalls, I think what I need to start doing is every time, you know, claims like this are there, I just need to put you in a battle with a player of the opposite point of view and see who wins, you know? Only fair way to decide it. But anyways, my son HW going to be signing out from here. You guys all have a lovely night. Take care of yourselves and be safe out there in this crazy world. And I will see you next time.